What is up guys, Chris here, and today we're going to be taking a look at YouCube's Impossible Lego 3x3. Right before I start this video, I want to address the one other puzzle that YouCube sent me. We already checked out the Gear Square one, but he also sent me this QR code 3x3, and I was planning on making a video on this puzzle. The problem with this 3x3 is that it gives me a headache every time I look at it, and I've tried to solve it, and I haven't been able to get further than the cross without wanting to die. So the QR code 3x3 is really cool, it's neat, it's unique, I can't stand it. So we're not making a video on that, so sorry. Back to the puzzles at hand though, we have the Lego 3x3s, which are made out of Lego dice. I was sent two puzzles. This first one is essentially just a 3x3 made out of Lego, but it doesn't turn like a normal 3x3. You have to separate layers and make individual turns before snapping the puzzle back together. Seems pretty straightforward, pretty easy. The only difficulty you're really going to have is when you're doing algorithms, because you have to keep track of which moves you have or have not made yet, and it can be a little bit stiff at times. You have to make sure everything is snapped into place before you make another move. So that's not going to be the focus of this video. It's a really cool puzzle, but maybe a little bit too easy. No, the real star of the show is this puzzle, which is much more difficult. The most noticeable difference is that we have these kind of little rivets on the top, and this is what allows us to separate the puzzle like a normal 3x3 and do a little flip and then stick it back again. And when we do this, you can see that something pretty spectacular is happening. I call this the Impossible Lego 3x3 because it is exactly that, impossible. On a normal 3x3, you have 6 different coloured centres, and we all know what those 6 colours are. On this puzzle, when you do a flip, you can actually replicate opposite centres. So we have a green centre here and another one over here, which should not happen. It should never happen. Another interesting thing that this puzzle does is it also replicates edges. So we have a yellow and a blue edge here, and on a normal 3x3 there's only one of those, otherwise it wouldn't look the way it does. But on this puzzle we have a second one here, and that's the same for this yellow and orange because there's another one over here, and I haven't noticed any, but I'm pretty sure we have, yes we do, we have repeated corners. So we have white, blue, orange, white, blue, orange. So that's why it's impossible, unless we do the flippy moves. I've been playing around with this a lot, and other than being extremely slow and difficult to move, it's actually a bit fun. It's pretty fun. The only way I think I'm going to be able to solve this is if I get all of my pieces flipped correctly. So I have one of each piece and none of them are replicated and they're flipped the right way round. And actually getting to that stage I think will be quite difficult, but I have a couple of ideas. I'm not going to try and do every single move that I demonstrate on camera because that's going to take like an hour. What I'm going to do is tell you what I want to do, cut to that part of the video, show you whether it worked or not, and then we can move on from there. So currently all of our centers seem to be okay except for this one green one, which according to the regular color scheme should be blue. This should be a blue, so we need to flip this face around, which seems fairly straightforward, and we can do that without a problem, just like this. But I don't want to do that yet. What I want to do is check all of my pieces and decide which ones are right and which ones are wrong. And if we have any replicated pieces, I'm going to move them all onto this layer using normal 3x3 moves. So when I do the flip, it should turn them into the edges that I want them to be. So just to kind of demonstrate this a bit better, we have a red and a blue edge here, and we have another one here. So when I flip this face, this will actually become a green and an orange edge, and we don't have a green and orange edge. Oh yeah, we do. There's a green and orange edge here. How does that work? Okay, so a brief change of plans. That didn't work, basically, yes. So what I'm doing instead is I'm going to go through the puzzle as if it was a normal 3x3. So you can see I've got 2 of my cross edges in already, which is great. But when I got to the white and red and white and blue edges, I realized that there weren't any at all. I also fixed this center in case you didn't notice. So there's no white and red and there's no white and blue. So what I'm gonna have to do is swap them. So what I'm gonna do is use my yellow face as a kind of flipping face. So I need white and red, white and blue. This is gonna become my white and red. This is gonna become my white and blue, because the top color reverses itself like this. Ta-da! A white and red and a white and blue. And then what we can do there is, I don't know, solve our cross. And this is taking way too long because it's made out of frickin' Lego. Okay, phew. Right, so next up, I don't know if I should use F2L, honestly. I know that these two will probably work. So maybe we should. I'm gonna come back and let you know how far of F2L I got, because I don't think you guys want to see me struggling with that. F2L, let's go. Okay. So this is, I believe, as far as we can get with F2L using normal 3x3 moves, meaning we now need to do a flip. And the reason for this is because we need a blue and orange edge piece, and that's obviously going to be this, but it means we need to do a flip. So we're going to have to be quite wise about this, because we have one flip left to restore the yellow, and after that we're going to have a lot of problems, because it means we're going to have to do cycles of flips, which I don't really want to do. We need to figure out exactly which pieces are causing us problems, so that when we flip back, we'll actually, hopefully, solve the puzzle for good. Okay, so we've put in this correct corner, so it's not going to be affected by the flip. And then we're going to, I guess, assume that this is good. It might be wrong. There's nothing we can really do about that. There's no way I can tell. So now we need to figure out what's good and what's bad on the top layer. So I can see two obviously bad corners, and those are the ones with white on them. So what I want to do in this case is, I'm going to have to do 3x3 OLL to get to a position where flipping the puzzle will sort out my pieces. So these two obviously need to be flipped with white facing upwards, and then these two pieces, well, I want to keep them as yellow, yellow and blue. So we're going to have the orange facing up here and the red facing up here. So let's go and do that. It's taking me like 2 minutes to do a soon each time I do it. It's really frustrating me at this point. I have just realized something. Oh, hang on a second. We have an impossible situation here. So my thinking is, I want to line up my corners so that when I flip them, I will have a set of 4 yellow corners, none of which replicate one another. So by flipping these 2 white corners, they will turn around, and on the other side it will be yellow, red, green, yellow, orange, green. So the green and yellow corners are fine, but the other ones are my problem. We don't want a white, so we can't flip it with yellow on top, and we also want them to be different. So if we just take a look at this carefully, if we flip this piece, it becomes white, orange and blue. Flip this piece, it becomes yellow, orange and blue. So what I was thinking is we want to keep the yellow and blue aspects, so if I flip this piece, it becomes yellow, orange, blue. And if we manage to get the orange on top, then that would become the yellow, red and blue, which makes sense. In this current orientation, this is impossible on a 3x3. This is kind of like having this. It shouldn't happen. And I think in order to undo that, it means either these two are just wrong, so it means we do like multiple sets of flips. So we would flip these 2 pieces so they're still white, and then reflip them so they're a different color, and then flip them again. And there's no real guarantee that that's gonna solve it for us, because any number of these corners down here could also be wrong. If you're solving it like a normal 3x3, that is taking apart each layer and doing 90 or 180 degree turns, if you're treating it like a canonical 3x3, there's no way you can possibly know which pieces are which, because for every move you make and every flip you do, the specific orientation of each corner changes, but its actual solved state does not. So this could easily be a yellow, red and blue corner, but I've got it down here as the wrong one. I mean, it's a possible puzzle, it's just, it'll take a very long time to sift through every variation possible. And that's my current theory. I could be wrong about that, I could just be being lazy, maybe I do need to just do a 3 cycle with these corners, but I kind of don't want to find out. YouCube, you've made something disgusting. You've made a puzzle that turns badly and is insanely difficult, so that's it. I'm done. I'm done for now. I wasn't able to solve it, but I don't think it's even possible to, hence the name Impossible 3x3. And that's in more ways than one. This is impossible. Okay, so I guess I gave up on that, and that brings me to the end of showcasing YouCube's puzzles. This is the collection that YouCube sent me, and I guess we're done with those puzzles now. These were some really awesome puzzles, and I'm really glad I got to check them out, even if they are quite frustrating and difficult to solve. I will leave all the relevant links in the description below. I would definitely recommend checking out his videos. He has some really creative content, and it's of course very high quality as well. So a huge thank you to YouCube for sending me these puzzles. I really enjoyed them. If you guys have also enjoyed looking at these puzzles, remember, give this video a like, leave a comment below and let me know what you think, and then of course subscribe and you'll be notified every time I make a new video. Have a really awesome day guys, I'll see you next time.